Henry stands up here, he's not asking for anything new or revolutionary. He's asking for something old and conservative. Taxation with representation. It was the English king and his parliament that were breaking the rules. And what George III wanted, although privately, but what he wanted was to push his American subjects down to the same level earlier kings had already pushed the Irish as a conquered people. So for the next 9 years, Parliament passes one illegal act right after another. They're attacking the liberties of the king's subjects on this side of the Atlantic Ocean. So of course people here are protesting peacefully, and it's falling on deaf ears. So finally, in March of 1775, Patrick Henry had to stand up and say, "Give me liberty or give me death." Now that was actually 45 miles up the road, but as you probably know, the bloodshed did start the very next month in the battles of Lexington and Concord, Massachusetts. And about a month after that, the Continental Congress got together up in Philadelphia, and they sent him a peace proposal called the Olive Branch Petition, basically saying, look, we want to be part of the British Empire, but we will have the rights our forefathers brought to this shore more than a century ago. What was his response? He refused to even read it. Now, why am I talking about something a guy didn't read? If he was the king of France, the Tsar of Russia, the king of Angola, the emperor of China, they can ignore their subjects, but there were rules for the kings and queens of England. These are coronation portraits, so they're all dressed up, but the crown isn't on their head, it's on the table next to them. Before that crown got anywhere near the head of good King George II, before that same crown got near the head of his grandson George III, they had to swear an oath to God that they will govern England and its dominions according to the ancient traditions. And one of those traditions was that they will receive the peaceful petition of their liege subjects for the redress of wrongs. In other words, just listen. He doesn't have to do what his people want, but to be the king of Great Britain, he has to at least listen. So as silly as this sounds, when George III wouldn't, as far as Americans were concerned, he just broke his oath with God, which made him a tyrant. Right after that, he declared all the colonies in rebellion, which means the English declared war on the Americans by September of 1775. So the governor declared martial law. There were some battles. The city of Norfolk was destroyed by fire mostly. And by the spring of 1776, they've had it. When the voters sent 112 men to the spot where you're sitting right now, they certainly weren't burgesses. They were delegates to a 5th Virginia Convention. And while Edmund Pendleton was presiding in this original speaker's chair, they voted unanimously to cut the ties with England forever and declare Virginia an independent country or commonwealth. And then they remembered this old Dutch saying that goes, by uniting we stand, by dividing we fall. So the second thing Virginians did on May 15, 1776, they sent a rider north to Philadelphia with a motion to Congress that all the former colonies in America should declare independence together. And that motion is what led to the Declaration of Independence, which led to the Articles of Confederation, which according to Patrick Henry saw Americans safely through the war for independence. And all that's actually an introduction to the third thing they did on May 15th. They set up a committee to write up a whole new government, starting with the Declaration of Rights I mentioned outside, which we're going to talk about upstairs. So come on and join me up on the second floor.